Or Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Tonight, let us make them remember we are not afraid!
Welcome back to Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the beautiful studios of Freedoms with an S, freedomsphoenix.com, where you guys need to be go checking out some goodies. I'm going to tell you a quick little story about something that happened this morning that hopefully you'll be able to embrace as a concept behind Freedoms Phoenix and why we do what we do. I got a call from a gentleman here in the Valley, and he was very excited that I know about something that's going on, and he said, hey, we need to meet. We need to get together. We need to talk about this one thing, and I'm, all right, I get these calls a lot, and I'm going, okay, so what is it that you're going to want me, is it a project you're going to want me to take on? Is it something you want me to do? Because I got enough projects, man. I'm done. But, I'm more than happy to help you be able to share whatever it is with the planet. That's what Freedom's Phoenix is about. So I'm going to go ahead and show you something here. While we were talking, he was very excited. He was an older gentleman, and he remembers he was in World War II and came across this, and it's been developing, blah, blah, blah. This is what it is. It's called the Lockridge device. What happened when the troops went in to taking over a lot of the secret projects of the Nazis, they came across this device that was powering a basement or a bunker that they're in, but they couldn't find out how it was powering. And they go, they kick it, they take it apart, and then finally they got it to where it stopped making power, and they're like, and they got taken by the Allies and lost and did whatever with it, okay? I have always been, my kids, whenever we come across some new technology that's going on, I'll say, yep, alien technology, alien technology, alien technology. And the only other thing that's more common is depending on what they're eating, I go, industrial waste, industrial waste, industrial waste, and drinking Pepsi, industrial waste, eating processed packaged industrial waste. And then something cool comes out, and they are so expectant of enormous advances in technology, they don't even look behind it. And where did it come from? How did we make this leap? Who made the leap? Where did it come out from? Who invented it? Was it a DARPA thing? Did it alien technology got sit down, from on high or whatever? I mean, angels of whatever gave us this new whiz-bang? If you don't understand, there's so many of us, and me included, I'm just as guilty. I try to at least understand that there's some fundamental physics property behind something, the progression of how this came about. Who was the person that manufactured this, came up, with the idea? Or was the inception of the idea? I bring this up because when we get to a point to where things start to devolve and it gets to where manufacturing in the U.S. just goes away, do we have the ability to understand technology that we can repair it, that we can fix it? We're at the point now that we just have disposable goodies. And it really started to change the way I thought when I was young. It was before I was married. I was in my early 20s. I was driving across the country, and there were a couple of hitchhikers. It was a young man and a young woman at a truck stop. I'd stopped to eat and everything. They asked for a ride. Sure, get in. I'll take you down to wherever it was they needed to go, because they were from Germany, and they spoke good English, and they were touring the America, and they were going to someone that they knew in a small community where I dropped them off in the off-ramp. So we were with each other probably less than an hour and a half. And we got to talking about various things and what their perception of America was. The one thing, there were two things that really hit them. One, they go, man, you guys waste a lot of stuff. And I'm, okay, well, what do you mean by that? Well, they weren't used to fast food the way that we have it here. And it wasn't so much the food as it was the packaging. In Europe, they were used to, they were really into recycling by then, not so much as a ecological thing. It was just a practical thing. They didn't waste as much. When you went to a restaurant, you got plates. It was like McDonald's served you on plates, I guess, or something. That was the mentality that they had. So they saw us as very wasteful. Everywhere they went was enormous piles of trash that was created by any and everything that we did. So that hit them. The other thing is that at the time, and I can't remember what years was this. This is probably in the early 80s. Is during the Reagan administration. Ronnie Reagan. They were, it's all the Cold War was amping up, and they were, of course, West Germany. So their perspective was, you guys, you don't really know what it's like to have ballistic missiles in your backyard. And I go, well, I think we were traveling through Middle America, like Kansas. I go, maybe I don't, but yeah, they're all around us here. When they start going, you're going to see them from the small town of. It's not like it's a secret. I mean, they're probably dispersed out, probably not as concentrated as like Germany, but yeah, they're all over the country. So I was a young man. I was just as enthusiastic about doing away with thermonuclear nukes in the backyard as they, but they had a different perception of America. And what it did is, just from me being able for the first time that I was able to talk to someone from Europe for an extended period of time, a young man and a young woman, that gave their perspective of America. And the only thing that these decades later that stuck with me was two things. One, how wasteful we are. And two, that they don't feel that we bear the brunt of the threat of thermonuclear war like everybody, certainly in Europe, does. So I always remembered that. And as time goes on, then you start doing some research about, are we really saving energy, raw materials, by recycling? So you start, okay, I'm serious about this. We're going to ask the right questions. Is it better for us to recycle or change what we use, or what is subsidized? How is this happening? Well, then you start getting into things like the oil industry and how much it's subsidized with the military to go over and how did our oil get underneath your sand? We have, last time I did this like 4 or 5 years ago, I did for a radio program, I did how much it cost per barrel of oil for us to go over and defend our cheap oil. And it was, I don't remember how I came up with this number. It was, barrels per and how much the war cost and for damaged veterans, and their care and so on. You extrapolate it out, and it was like $137 a barrel above what we pay for oil to go get the cheap oil. Now, of course, who benefits from that? The military-industrial complex, the Halliburtons, the KBRs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if you take into account all of that, all of a sudden, all the packaging that you get from a lot of it from petroleum distillates in the form of styrofoam and plastics and all this kind of stuff, you're going, yeah, you can make that case. If you took away all these subsidies, packaging would change a great deal. I thought of this because today on Freedom's Phoenix, we have a story about, there's a video that came from Daily Paul, and it was about the war effort to get farmers to start producing hemp. Now, they always say hemp, except when they show a tax stamp for permission of a farmer to grow it, it says marijuana tax stamp, all right? Now, the marijuana tax stamp, they're going to start coming back with this kind of stuff. I can feel it coming. There's going to be industries built around this. You're already marijuana is starting to get their own lobbyist. So they're going to be paying off their congressmen. They're going to be making paper. They're going to be making all kinds of different products and packaging and everything. We're going back to hemp as a special interest as opposed to just we can do it all on our own. Well, here in Arizona, they had these tax stamps. I got one. How I got that and what we look in the future here with marijuana and other energy-saving products just a little bit when we come back.